What is up, everybody? It is TedZaster. We have reached the end of the year, the end of the decade, and I thought, fuck it, I might as well try something new, and I'll do a list. So, I'm not sure how many people know, but I am super into film. I love film, and I love movies. I love TV shows. I love all that good shit. And I one day plan to pursue a film career, outside of YouTube and everything like that, and try to make my own movies and write my own scripts and star in my own movies, even do some with my friends, shit like that. And I wanted to do a list of the end of the year. I got asked if I was going to do a list on the top 10 video games of the year. I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry, but I honestly just didn't play many games this year. I didn't get around to it. I was busy watching movies. So the way I'm going to structure this video is I'm going to do the top 5 albums that I liked this year, the top 10 TV shows I loved this year, and then the top 15 movies that I loved this year. I highly recommend all these things, and just keep in mind that this is my opinion, so in case something you like didn't make it onto my list or something you think should have been on there, it should have been on my list. You just got to know this is my opinion. This is my complete biased opinion on these movies and TV shows and music and all that shit. And I'm sure that you have your opinion on it and I'll have mine. And this one is mine. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we're going to start with the top 5 albums of the year. My number 5 spot goes to Diaspora by Goldlink. I got a lot out of this album. I feel like it kind of went under everybody's radar, this year. I'm not sure why. I thought it was really good. I never really heard of Goldlink before, and this definitely made me check out his other work, and I don't know, something about this album just kept me entertained and captured me throughout the whole thing, and I thought every song was dope. Every song was fun and energetic and had this type of energy that you just couldn't match with a lot of the other music that I listened to this year. And, I love the spot with Pusha T. Pusha T is the fucking man. It's a good song. I would love to see a collab album with the two of them. Number 4. That spot goes to IDK for the Is He Real album. I don't know, this one I feel the same way pretty much. I feel like this kind of just went under everybody's radar, and it was a secret slap of the year. I don't know, I found it instantly entertaining from the first intro to the rest of the album. I found it instantly captivating and entertaining throughout the whole thing, and I am super excited to see where he goes to next. Next, number 3, So Much Fun by Young Thug. Thugger is just the man. He really is. He has influenced a generation of people, and whether people want to admit it or not, Ecstasy is one of those songs of the decade and of this generation that just people will listen to 20 years from now, and they'll go, bro, you remember this song, bro? Holy shit, you remember this? And they'll put it on and everybody will go fucking crazy. Number 2, Hollywood's Bleeding by Post Malone. Honestly, man, bro, fuck you. I love Post Malone. The dude puts out hit after hit every year, dude. Every fucking year. It's just when I heard the teasers for this album, when I heard Wow, I was like, okay, you know what? It goes. It's okay. It was pretty good. I kind of skip it if it's on the album now. I kind of skip past that one. It's just a bland party song, but I heard Goodbye and Circles, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck? And then I just haven't been able to stop listening to it. I really haven't. That cut with Ozzy is insane. 1,000 Bad Times is probably my song of the year. Probably, honestly, I've listened to that shit 1,000 fucking times. I just feel like Post is super consistent with everything that he drops, and I feel like he gets way too much hate, and I don't get it. The music's fun, it's energetic, and honestly, the beats are dope. I love his voice. The dude's just dope, and I feel like he would be a kick-ass person to hang out with too. So Post, if you're watching this, I know you live in Utah too, so hit me up, man. For real. And the number 1 pick of the year, this one was probably a little obvious to some people, is Igor by Tyler, the Creator. Holy shit. I don't know what Tyler is going through in his mind, man, but he's really just tapped into this element that I never thought I'd see, because I listened to Goblin when I was in middle school, And I checked out his other work. I listened to Bastard and then the Odd Future stuff, and then Wolf came out when I was in like 9th grade or 8th grade. I can't fucking remember, but it came out and everybody was talking about it, and I was like, dude, okay. And I checked it out, and I was like, dude, this is great. And then he dropped Cherry Bomb, which is, it's okay. It's a good album. It's not as bad as people try to make it sound like. But after that was, if I'm not mistaken, Flower Boy, which was just such a fucking 360, 180. I'm fucking retarded. 180 and a left turn for Tyler. And I was like, this is some deepful, thought-provoking shit. Like, he's really opening up and discussing things that I'm sure make him super uncomfortable to talk about. This is super interesting, and it's just a banger. Every song, the whole album is just amazing. I knew from the title track for Igor, I was like, I knew this is it. I know this is going to be the one. It's one of the best breakup albums of the decade. Like, it's just so well put together, even though it does sound muddy and it does sound messy and his vocals are distorted most of the time. I feel like Tyler just tapped into an element of music where he really has found a sound where people will be able to identify him no matter what. So that's going to wrap up the albums of the year. Those are just like I said, it's my opinion. Those are just the ones that I got the most out of and the most I listened to this year. I feel like this year was kind of dry for music and video games this year, but I feel like 2020 will be the year where most of that shit starts to pick back up, and it's going to be a great year for all of it. But musically and video game wise, I feel like this year was just fucking dry. So that's why I decided to just do a top 5 albums, because I didn't really, like I said, I just didn't find anything that fascinating this year. There's tons of other good shit out there, but I didn't want to spend too much time on the music because I'm mostly here to talk about the film and TV shows I saw this year. So kicking off the TV shows, we are going to start with number 10. Stranger Things has always been kind of a mixed bag for me. Like, the first season was great. Second season was okay. Like, it was good. And then the third season, I don't know. I feel like I disagree with everybody, and I feel like this is the second best season so far. Like, I feel like they're finally returning to form, and I don't know. I thought it was a lot of fun. You got the underground, fucking tunnels and shit with the facility and all that shit, and the parade and the fireworks and the 4th of July and the government cover-ups and stuff. It was awesome. I loved it. I thought it was so much goddamn fun and super intense and super scary and action-packed. I loved it. I really think that they're coming back to a place where I will be able to get more out of it instead of just, oh, look, it's the 80s. Wow, cool. Psychic powers. Wow, it's the same fucking thing. You know what I mean? Number 9. This was heartbreaking. Like, I can't think of another word to use. Like, it was like when I watched 12 Years a Slave for the first time. Like, it is just fucking rough, man. So for those of you who don't know, this is about the Central Park 5, who were 5 young black teenagers who were accused of raping a woman and beating her in Central Park, and the only description they got was a black man. And so all these kids were in the park, and they started arresting every black person they could see. And so the cops used their influence to say, like, oh, if you tell me the truth, if you confess, you'll get to go home and see your family, which, is bullshit. And these 5 kids are wrongfully convicted of a crime that they didn't fucking commit. And it's a short 4-episode season, It's just a mini series. It's not short. Each episode is like an hour long, but they all kind of go in depth on what their lives were like in prison and out of prison, and adjusting to this life of being convicted of being a sexual felon of a crime that they didn't even fucking commit. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but it's so worth the watch. It's really, really rough, but it is super fucking worth the watch. Number 8. Mr. Robot finally came to an end, which, I think it's a good spot to end around, because some shows, when they keep going, they run the risk of just bleeding out and fucking just sucking out all the life of it, and just bleeding it dry. And Mr. Robot, I think, ended at a great time. I thought that this season was really good, and I thought it tied up everything pretty nicely. And I'm not going to go too much into spoilers. I'm just going to say, please watch Mr. Robot. It's awesome. It's on Amazon Prime, I think. If you have Amazon Prime, go check it out. It's super fucking good. Every season is just amazing. And this one is no different. It's really fucking good, and I really recommend it. I can't really talk too much about it without going to spoilers, because this is the fourth season. So if you haven't seen it yet, go binge, man. Go binge. It's winter break. Go binge this shit. Number 7. Euphoria was a different experience. It's super fucking grimy. Like, I didn't know that it was gonna be so fueled by all this shit. Like, it is just non-stop. It is just drugs and sex and, you know, all this crazy shit. But I think people will get caught up in that, and it'll make them dislike it, which I think is fucking dumb, because people get so turned off by, oh my god, it's nudity, or oh my god, the violence was too much. You know what I mean? It's fucking dumb. You know, suspend your belief for a second. You know, I thought that this show was great. It touched on a lot of things like addiction and rape and, you know, the current climate that teenagers grow up in high school with the internet and the access to all the things they have out there. And the acting is great. Zendaya she steals it. She steals the show. She's amazing. And she's just she was great. I really enjoyed watching her bring this character to life, and I think she did a great job. Number 6. Chernobyl was fucked up. That's probably the best way I could describe it, is it's fucked up. Like, it is super realistic to me. Like, it takes place in Russia, but everyone's got a British accent, you know? I'm sure that was an executive decision to make it so people could understand them more. Whatever the fuck. But all the performances are great. I like the dark, you know, creepy, dystopian world, like, color palette that they have to this, because it actually fucking happened. This is a true story, and it's like watching a fucking horror movie. But then you come to reality and you're like, holy shit, this actually fucking happened in Russia. And the terrible things that happened to the people that were close by, you know, they're like standing outside on this bridge and they're like, oh my god, look, it's snowing. But it's toxic ash from the fucking nuclear core reactor that exploded in there. And it's just fucked up. And it's super fucked up, and it's super realistic, and it's just, god, it's rough to watch in some parts, but I feel like it was just done so well to where I feel like that I'm actually watching it happen instead of watching a TV show about it. I feel like I'm watching it happen before me, and it's just so fucked up. It is super worth the watch, though. This was super interesting and super informative. I found out so much shit about this that I didn't even know about, that I didn't even learn in school, and it was super cool, and it was super good to watch, and it was fantastic. I highly recommend this one. Number 5. Watchmen was not what I expected. I thought that they were just doing a remake of the movie, but they were just stretching it out to fit the length of the comic book. But holy shit, I was completely wrong. This is a TV show that takes place 30 years after Watchmen, and it's so well done. Like, I feel like they really thought this through very deeply, and they had a very thorough plan of how they wanted it to go, and it came through. I was worried because, you know, the first few episodes are like, you know, they're okay. Some of the episodes feel a little touch and go. Like, it's great in some parts, and other scenes are fucking pointless, and then it gets great again. And then there comes a point in the show, like, I think it's like either after episode 3 or 4, where every episode is just good. Every fucking episode is amazing. And I liked the twist and all that shit. I thought it came through. It really did. It really came through for me, and I was super excited for this, and I think it did great. Regina King is super sexy, and she is super good as Sister Night, and I loved Looking Glass, like his whole character arc and his entire like presence in the show is super captivating the whole time, and I liked him a lot. He was my favorite, I think. I really liked him, and then Angela. But I highly recommend this one too. This one is super good, and if you like Watchmen, I really think that you'll enjoy this one because it stays really true to the comic, and it just kind of adds on to what the comic left after all that. Number 4. Mandalorian is amazing. Like, it's so fucking good. Like, it feels nice to get a break from Star Wars. The typical shit you look for. Like, oh, look, it's Han Solo. Oh, look, it's Millennium Falcon. Oh, look, it's Tatooine. Oh, look, it's, what I mean? That's all the fucking sequel trilogy was. Because I thought Rise of Skywalker fucking sucked. Like, I thought it was terrible. I'm just going to get that out of the way right now. And so when it was over, I was like, you know what? At least I got The Mandalorian. And The Mandalorian was so good. Except for the episode that was pretty much just filler with with them going to hunt down that girl and all that, with the worst actor in the entire season. Yeah, I mean, besides that, it was just so good. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the meme. I'm sure you fucking seen it. But spoiler warning, if you haven't seen it yet, Baby Yoda is like the fucking cutest thing I've seen all year. I will die for him. I will protect him at any cost. And if you touch him, I will rip your intestines out through your asshole. And that's just it. That I won't even think about it or regret it either. Number 3.
Pardon my French. Fuck those fuckers.
The Boys is awesome. Like, I don't know how else to describe it besides awesome. It feels like such a dude thing, like it feels like it's just fueled by testosterone and blood, and it's just awesome. It's so fucking cool. I've always loved the idea of superheroes being evil, and what the world would be like if the Justice League was just a group of bastards. They were all just flawed pieces of shit, just like the rest of us. So the only thing that makes them different from being human is their superpowers. And I think that's super interesting. And, because they fuck and they argue and they kill and they do drugs and they drink and they cuss and they yell, but they have to maintain this perfect pretty boy image in front of the cameras for this business that they belong to, that they're owned by. And they like lease them out like stocks. Like, they lease out these superheroes to different places, and it's super interesting. And I haven't read the comic, but I'm sure it's amazing too. But this was such a surprise. Like, I feel like it came out of nowhere and it just knocked me on my ass, and I couldn't stop. I watched the first episode and I couldn't fucking stop. I had to keep going, and I got it done like in like a day. It was amazing, and it's super good. Number 2. Mindhunter is Netflix's best show right now. It really is. Like, I didn't even know about this show. I was scrolling through Netflix and the trailer popped up on my thing, and I was like, oh, serial killers. Oh shit. That stuff is super interesting to me. And I was so goddamn surprised by how much I love this show. Like, I love it to death. It's so fucking good. I watched the first episode, and the first episode of season 1 fucking sucks. I'm serious. Like, it's ass. But once you get past that, everything is a 10 out of 10. It's so fucking good, and it's so interesting. It's just about these 2 guys who work in the FBI who, before there even was studies of people like this, they want to get inside the mind of these serial killers and try to base what they do on some sort of logic or reason. And they're trying to write a book about it, and they go state to state and talking to serial killers and to get information and get inside their head and see what their motives was and why they did it and what made them do it and what their childhood was like. And it is so goddamn interesting. It is so good. And I watched the first episode, and me and my wife, we just binged it. We finished it. It was so fucking good. My friend the man was actually halfway through season 2 when we started it, and we finished it before he did. And I still don't even know if he's finished it, Friend, if you're watching this, finish Mindhunters, you piece of shit. And when the fuck are we gonna watch JoJo's? And the number 1 spot goes to... Holy shit. I can't tell you enough times how fucking good Barry is. This is the new Breaking Bad. It really is. Like, it really fucking is. There's always all these new shows that really want to be the new Breaking Bad, but Barry comes through. It is such a Walter Jesse dynamic between Fuchs and Barry, but this time it's about the Barry. But this time it's about the Jesse instead of the Walter, and it's so fucking good. It's so good. It's about an ex-Marine who is a hitman when he comes back from the war, and he is just so fed up with how he's living and how his life is going, and he has this depressed feeling, and he has severe PTSD, and he feels like he has no purpose except for killing people, which he doesn't like doing, but he feels like it's the only thing he can do. And one day he has to murder this guy who is in this acting class, and he walks in one day and he's like, he thinks that this could be his purpose, and so he wants to quit killing people to join the acting class, and everything just gets in the way. These two lives that he wants to live merge, and he has to protect the people in the class and himself while also doing the work of these fucking criminals. And it is so good. It's super short, which sucks. It's only 8 episodes per season, and they're all like just a half hour, so it's a super quick watch. If you have time, please, for the love of God, please do it for me. Watch Barry. Watch it. It is so fucking good. I can't stress how good it is. It is so fucking amazing. Bill Hader is a national treasure, and he must be protected at all costs too. Because if you would have told me that the dude who does the really funny Alan Alda impression from Saturday Night Live is this fantastic drama actor in the lead role of this show, I would have said you're a fucking liar. Bill Hader has come through, and he's just shining so bright right now, and we must appreciate that. Now, let's get into the top 15 movies of the year. I had to make this 15 because 2019 was such an amazing year for film. Like, holy shit! There were so many bangers this year. I can't even fucking describe it. Last year was good, but this year, it was just, I feel like I was living. Like, I was alive, and it was so good. There's so many goddamn movies that came out this year that are just fucking masterpieces, okay? I saw a lot of movies this year. I saw at least 50, okay? I'm not gonna lie. I saw a shit ton of movies this year. I love going to the movies. It's such a fun experience. I love going with my friends, with my wife. I love just sitting down, forgetting everything about the outside world, and just settling in with a nice bucket of popcorn and a drink and just watching a movie and being entertained by it. I love it. It's the best. And these movies are all the ones that stood out to me. All these ones are amazing, and they were my highlights of the year, and I recommend all of them. So let's get going. Number 15. Shazam was awesome. Like, what the fuck? DC sucks. Okay, let's get that out of the way. The DC movies that they're doing fucking suck. Okay, Batman vs. Superman was an abortion. Man of Steel was too long, and the last fight scene goes on for too fucking long, and Henry Cavill is boring as fuck as Superman. It's not a bad movie. It's okay, but it's just all of it together is not good. Suicide Squad was a piece of fucking shit. Wonder Woman was pretty cool, except for the end. It was all good up until the fucking end. What else is there? Oh, Justice League. I had to apologize to my friends. I dragged them to see. I said, guys, maybe this one will be good. Maybe it'll be awesome. And I dragged my friends to it, and we're watching. I'm like, I'm sorry. I did this to us. I'm so fucking sorry. I did this. It's terrible. Fuck that movie. Seriously, fuck the DC movies. But this year, they came through. Like, they really fucking did. And Shazam is just such a breakaway from all that dumb, dark, super serious, oh, please take us serious. Please take me in my bat costume serious, motherfucker. It was such a break from all that dumb shit. And Shazam was just awesome. I laughed so goddamn hard in this movie. It was so much fun. It was so great. Everything about it was just awesome. It was so good. I can't explain to you like how good it is. Like, it was so refreshing to get a break from all that other dumb shit and just finally enjoy a movie like this, because it knows how goofy it is, and it knows that the premise of a superhero is just fucking goofy. It does. It knows, because it really is. Being a superhero and running around in tights and punching people is fucking goofy. You can't escape that. And it was awesome. Please, if you haven't seen it, go see it. Number 14. Oh my god. John Wick is the man. Like, John Wick is the fucking man. This is the best one in the installment of these movies. They've already announced number 4, and it's going to be just as good. You know, I like that these movies don't take themselves too seriously. It borders on the ridiculous, because this one man has run through, like, he's like caught like 200 fucking bodies at this point. Like, he is running through these guys like it's nothing, and it's so unbelievable, and it's so nuts, and it's so badass. The first, like, what, 5-6 minutes in the movie, he kills a guy with a fucking book. Like, if that doesn't make you want to see this movie, I don't know what the fuck will. Number 13. Wow, this was an emotional roller coaster. Like, it really was. Like, the story is super interesting, and it's based off a real story where the Chinese have this custom where when one of their family members gets cancer, they don't tell them, and they stage this wedding so they can all have an excuse to come together and see this girl's grandmother for the last time, because she has lung cancer and she's going to die. And they don't tell her. They can't tell her. And it's just the internal struggle of the main character, Billy, who is trying to come to grips that she'll never see her grandma again. And she can't even tell her, and she won't even get to say goodbye to her. That is fucking rough. They don't tell them until it's close to the end. And it's super good. It's super, super good. Awkwafina was great. Everybody was great in this. I really recommend it. It's super good. It's a really good movie to just put on and just kind of relax and just let yourself fall into it. It's really good, and it's a really good story. Number 12. Nightingale, directed by Jennifer Kent. Holy fuck, I've waited for her to do something since The Babadook. Babadook is awesome, by the way. If you haven't seen it, go see it. This is something I don't ever want to watch again. Like, it's so good, but holy fuck, this was rough. This was like one of the hardest things I've had to watch all year. It is so goddamn sad and so fucking depressing, but holy shit, it's good. The main character, I'm blanking on the actress's name, but she gives one of the best performances of the fucking year. Like, her performance is flawless and super believable and heartbreaking. Every fucking scene in this movie is heartbreaking, and I highly recommend it. It's a really good revenge story, and it's just a very thought-provoking, deep movie. It's on Hulu, and seriously, go fucking watch it. It's awesome. Number 11. This one was a shock to me. You know, I knew it was going to be good, but I felt like something about it just gave me this thought where it would be like, yeah, it's good, but it's not as good as they wanted to make it seem like, you know. But holy fuck, it is. It is. Christian Bale just does nothing wrong. Like, he's a dickhead in real life, I know that, but like, the dude can fucking act. Like, he really can. Matt Damon is good. This is the first time in a long time where I've really liked Matt Damon, because I feel like Matt Damon's just a fucking pillow. Like, I feel like he just brings nothing that interesting to his characters. But he was great. He was so good in this. And I can't wait to see what James Mangold does next. I highly recommend this one. It's super inspirational. It's super good. The car scenes are awesome. And you don't even have to be a car person to like this movie. If you just... There's something in it for everybody. I know everyone is saying that, but there seriously is. There's something for everybody to enjoy here, and I really recommend this one. Number 10. Knives Out. Let me get this out of the way real quick. Rian Johnson can eat my dick. Like, he really can. Like, he made The Last Jedi, which is one of the worst movies of all fucking time. But then he came around and he shocked me. Knives Out is awesome. It's so good. I was like, yo, this is the guy that did The Last Jedi. This is him. Ryan, don't you ever fucking go near Star Wars again. I'll break my foot off in your ass. Do this instead. This was awesome. It was so well written and super good. The cast is star-studded and it's amazing. Daniel Craig is the shit in this. Like, it's so weird hearing him do the Kentucky Fried accent. But, I mean, when you get used to it, it's like, oh shit, like, I really like this guy. I like his accent. He feels so genuine and, like, such a typecast for these old murder mystery movies. And it is making fun of these old murder mystery movies, but at the same time being its own original idea. Number 9. Doctor Sleep was awesome. Like, I watched this just late one night and I was shocked. I was shocked at how much I liked this movie. I loved this movie. It was so good. I mean, it's not better than The Shining. You know, The Shining is one of the greatest movies of all time. But this is such a good sequel. Like, if you... There could have either been a terrible idea or a good idea for how to do this movie. And Mike Flanagan pulled through. Like, Mike Flanagan's the shit. Like, he did Oculus, which is great. The sequel to Ouija, which was great because the first one sucked. I think he did Haunting of the Hill House, which is probably the best TV show last year. And I'm such a believer in this guy now. He did so good. It's not a bunch of cheap jump scares. Scares are genuine and they're built up through tension, and it's just so good watching, you know, seeing Danny go through the Overlook Hotel one last time, you know, letting go of all these feelings he's had for his dad since that shit happened. And, you know, it's not banking off of your fucking nostalgia, you know. The movie is more about the two of them, him and this little girl. It's more about them instead of, oh, hey, remember this? Oh, hey, remember this? Remember the Overlook? Remember the Golden Room? Remember his dad, Jack Torrance? Remember the scene with the axe? It doesn't get like that till the end of the movie, which is good because it makes sense in the context of him walking through the hotel, reliving those memories, you know? It's not just doing it the whole fucking movie. That would have been so cheap, and I'm super glad they didn't. Number 8. I'm not sure who knows this, but I am a huge Tarantino fan. I love him. I was super mixed on this movie when I first saw it. I didn't know if I liked it, but I've watched it like maybe 5 times since, and it's awesome. It's not his best. It's really not. But it's not even close to being his worst. It is so good. This movie's so fucking funny. And DiCaprio and Brad Pitt have this unmatchable chemistry throughout the whole movie. I believe them. I feel like these two guys are like really long time co-workers and long time buddies, and like they're best friends, and they've been together through everything. And it's such a love letter to Hollywood and the 70s and the, you know, the summer of love, all that. It's Tarantino really came through again. Like, the dude just does no wrong. Like, he's just amazing. And if you don't like him, go fuck yourself. Number 7.
Yeah.
Dude, Scorsese is a GOAT. Like, he might be the GOAT. You know, like, this movie, I'm so glad to see him come back to the gangster movies and the narrative storytelling. And this movie, it just looks good. Like, it just looks so good. Like, the way it's shot is so good. The digital de-aging looks so natural. And this movie, there's no fucking way this movie could have failed. It's Scorsese at the helm, and, you know, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, and Al Pacino. How the fuck could this have failed? It couldn't have. I never knew what the actual story for Jimmy Hoffa was. I had no idea. I'd never read up on it or known what this time period was like for anybody. And I believe him. I believe the guy that made this story. Like, I believe him. I really do. I do believe that this is how it happened. And I think that Scorsese fell in love with it just like we all did. And he really came through with another fantastic film. And the dude, I hope he makes movies for the next 100 years. Number 6. This is this one haunts me. It really does. This movie is rough. It's a love story about divorce, and Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson give the performances of the year. They really do. They really fucking do. And, you know, Scarlett Johansson is a real life dummy. You know, she sucks, you know, in real life. But holy fuck, she is incredible in this movie. And it would be a goddamn shame if she didn't get nominated for Best Actress for this. It would be a goddamn shame. But, you know, the Oscars is a joke, so she probably won't. This movie was rough. It was really fucking rough. Because you feel like you know these people. Like, you feel like they're your friends. And you feel like they're just going through this terrible divorce where you just want everything to work out. And it just doesn't. And it's so good. And this is one of the movies of the decade. Like, this is one of the best movies literally of all time. It really is. It's so good. It's on Netflix. Please watch it. Number 5. Taika Waititi is such a fucking mystery. Like, this dude, he just is so good at what he does. Nobody else could have made this story, you know, poking fun and making light of the Holocaust and Hitler and occupation of the Jews and all that. You couldn't fucking make this light. And what Taika Waititi does it. Like, the child actor in this is phenomenal. Taika Waititi is hilarious as Hitler. Like, the writing is so sharp and airtight, and it's such a good movie. Nobody else could have done this. Nobody else could have possibly even attempted this shit without fucking it up completely. Number 4. Wow, this was, holy shit. I think it's a Korean film. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. Bong Joon-ho just, like, he killed it. Like, Parasite is incredible. It is such a good telling of classism and, you know, the parallels between the rich and the poor. And it's just about this family who is dirt poor, literally dirt underground poor. And this guy, his friend, is going away to college, and he is a tutor for this super rich family, and he gives his friend the job. And they are not scholars. They're all con men. And then he finds out that the younger brother of this family needs a tutor for his art. And so then he hires the sister, who is great at Photoshop and art design and all that. And then he finds out that they need another driver. So they get the driver fired, so then they can hire the dad. Then the dad is the driver. And then they fire the maid, which becomes the mom. And this whole family are acting like they're complete strangers to each other. And they're working for this family and scamming them so they can make money. And holy fuck, is this movie good. There just becomes a point where this movie stops being funny and interesting and just turns into this dark, fucked up horror movie almost. And it's just insane. The tone shift is fucking crazy. And I beg you fucking watch this movie. It's so good, and I can't wait to see what this guy does next. Number 3. So I watched The Witch, and I was the only one who liked it out of all the people I went to see it with. Then I showed it to my friends, and they liked it too. But I was desperately waiting to see what this guy did next, and The Lighthouse just kills it. This is incredible. Like, please, for the love of God, give Willem Dafoe his fucking Oscar already. Like, seriously, give it to him. Like, stop fucking around and give it to him. This movie is so fucked up and so weird and so goofy, and it's just, there's nothing like it. There isn't. There hasn't been anything like it. And it is one of those things where people will talk about it forever. They really will. Robert Pattinson, I must protect him at all costs too. I fucking must. He's amazing. He's shit. I love the guy. Okay? And I can't wait to see him as Batman. And he is fantastic, as usual, in this movie too. He is amazing. He's so good. Both of them together are just incredible. And this was just such a fucking thrill ride the whole fucking time. Like, I couldn't believe what I was fucking watching. Number 2. This was a whole nother animal. Like, it really was. it's like I said, DC came through this year. They really did. Like, this movie is so good. I love the color palette. I love how dirty and dark and grimy Gotham City looks. And Joaquin Phoenix is, like, he's my favorite actor of this age. Like, he really is. I've seen everything. Him and Robert Pattinson, I've seen everything they've done ever. And I expected nothing less than an incredible performance. And Joaquin Phoenix delivered. He really did. And he definitely deserves something for this. The other thing that deserves the shout out for this movie is the music. Holy fuck. Like, the second I heard the soundtrack, I laid back and I knew what I was in for. And it delivered on all fronts. This movie is dark and interesting, and it is so subtle in the Joker, because, you know, the Joker's usually right in your face. You know, he's in your face with the laughter and the craziness and the murder. And this one, it's so subtle, and it builds slowly over time. And then when it comes to the end, you realize that he has finally embodied this person or this entity or this idea of what the Joker is. And it is pure insanity. And it was so good. Please watch this fucking movie. I'm sure everybody's seen it. It's so good and so fucking worth the watch. And the number one spot of the entire year literally came at the end of the year. And the number one spot for me of the year goes to...
KJ, it's game night. You should be stretching out.
This literally came at the end of the year. I saw it last week. Like, I did. I saw it last weekend, and, like, it blew me away. The Good Time is one of my favorite fucking movies of all time. Top 5 easily by the Safdie brothers. And so when I heard that this was by them, I was like, you know, that's it. You got me. You hooked me. I'm in. And this was just, oh my God, it was just a non-stop anxiety thrill ride the entire time. It was just so fucked up and just so intense and so fast-paced. Everybody's talking over each other and you're trying to listen all at once. And you never get a second to rest. The music is amazing. Adam Sandler gives the best performance he's ever given. And, you know, Adam, if you're watching this, buddy, you did it, man. You really did it. Please don't ever fucking do anything else. Please, for the love of fucking God, don't do anything else. Like, please just do dramas. Stop with the shitty Netflix comedy movies and just do this. Please, I fucking beg you. This was so good. And I'm sure this will come as a surprise to people, like this pick. Because if you want an inside look on what I want in a movie, this is the perfect example. It is intense, and the music is good. The pacing is great. The acting is phenomenal from everybody. Even KG, he was great. What the fuck? You know, he was great. The Safdie brothers have this way of pairing all these unnatural people and all these people who aren't actors and all these unnatural things and tying them together in a story that is incredible. And this one is just amazing. It was amazing. Those last top 5 movies of the year are the 10 out of 10s, all of them. I just needed to piece them together, which was my favorite. Please understand, this is just my opinion, and I recommend all these movies. And that's going to do it for this list, everybody. Thank you for watching if you stuck around the whole time. I'm going to post in the comments all the other movies I saw this year. I'll just post all of the movies I saw this year. So go check them out. They're all amazing. I hope you guys like this video. I hope that next year you'll tune in if I do another one. And I hope you guys had a great year. I had a great year because of you guys too. Like, you guys are just amazing and your support is always welcome. And I love you guys. I really do. I have the best fans ever. So thank you guys so much for watching and have a great new year. And I will see you guys later this week.